Hello people, welcome to What to See Next, a show where I recommend movies and other media for you to consume. I will tell you right now, I am very excited about this episode because we are possibly talking about one of, if not my favorite movie of the year. Certainly my favorite horror movie, that's for sure. It is none other than the critically acclaimed and fan favorite, The Substance. Directed by Coralie Fargeat, starring Demi and Margaret Qualley. The Substance is about a fading Hollywood star named Elizabeth Sparkle, who comes across a drug mysteriously named The Substance that promises her a better life and possibly reignite her fame. Now, I was admittedly a little vague with the synopsis of this movie because I went in without knowing anything, and that did wonders for my experience. I will try my best to shield you guys away from the content of this movie as much as possible so you can experience them yourselves. As to what you can expect, I will tell you this. There is a big amount of body horror in this movie. If you don't know what it is a subgenre of horror that involves the human body. If you are newer to horror, I would not necessarily recommend this movie as your first watch, as this movie can get a little gross sometimes. Think The Fly by David Cronenberg. But I do think in the end that the amount of gore presented in the movie is necessary for the message of it, and it does provide a substantial, amount of entertainment. It is an extremely entertaining movie if you are into the genre, but man, oh man, does it get graphic at some parts. Like, I honestly thought it was gonna stop at a certain point, but nope. It just kept going and going and going until it reached an ending that was very satisfying, but also very melancholy. But behind all the gore and the genre elements though, the movie isn't without its substance. I'm gonna stop now. This movie is an allegory for a lot of things. Depending on who you are, you might see different things represented in the movie. This movie does have a lot to say about how women are viewed by the world, how aging can affect a person, substance abuse and addiction, jealousy, among many other things, which is why I will never stop praising it for tackling all these different things while still making it very digestible and fun. Everything in the movie is heightened, even stylized. Right next to the gore and the vanity of it all, the movie wears its sarcasm on its sleeve. The movie is set in Los Angeles, but an extremely superficial version of it. Everything is very glossy and surface level. For context, you will see billboards of famous people in this movie with the words "new show" attached to it without the name of the actual show or where to find it. It is certainly not the most realistic portrayal of LA, but it is certainly the most effective way for this movie to go about it. Things are sometimes zoomed in super closely to the point where it is uncomfortable to look at. The sound mix in this movie is just as uncomfortable. A lot of sloshes and squishes are gonna be firing out from your speakers. Aside from the gore, there is a scene at the beginning of the movie that involves Dennis Quaid eating some shrimp, and it might just be one of the most unappetizing things I've ever seen in the movie. Demi Moore, man, what a performance. You feel sympathetic for this woman. You feel bad for her. You root for her, even though you might just say she is in the upper class with more money than anyone could ever hope for. She knows to bring just the right amount of intensity to the table for certain scenes, and she also knows when to go all out crazy. The things that are asked of her in this movie are not easy to pull off with such boldness, and yet she does it. She owns it. She really leaves it all out on the floor, and then some for this movie. Even though she is a famous actor in the movie, I'm sure people can still relate to her on a personal level as she deals with how people treat her and how the world might be moving on from her, and the process of reclaiming her life. Equally as bold and daring is Margaret Qualley. I'm not going to tell you who she plays in the movie, just in case you don't want to know anything about this movie at all and want to be totally surprised. She, as the kids say, matches Demi Moore's freak in this one. Am I saying that right? They work so well together, and the dynamic between her and Demi Moore is the spine of the film. She is the main part of the climax of the movie. Like I said, the ending of the movie is very satisfying and is essentially what I go to the movies for. And without Margaret Qualley, it wouldn't be as emotionally resonant. You spend some parts of the movie hating on her, and yet you also feel bad for her by the end when she makes a certain decision, as you know that you might just do the same thing because it is an extremely human thing thing to do. So, to recap, I would say that if you still somehow haven't seen this one, I suggest you go see it right away, especially if you are a horror fan. This movie is not just a gore fest, it is also a poetic allegory, and at the end of the day, a surprisingly touching human story that does have something to say, and man does it say it with style. This is certainly one of my favorite movies of 2024. Heck, I might even say that this is my favorite movie of the year, depending on the day. This is the type of original movie that people have been begging studios for years, and every once in a while when we get one this well told and thought out, you simply just have to go see it. If you've seen it, I would love to know your thoughts. I know I'm not the only one who loves the movie. It seems like both critics and audience really liked it, but I would like to hear from you. What do you think? Leave a comment down below, like the video, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.